Professor of Political Science at the University of South Africa, Professor Dirk Kotze, joins us now to unpack this a little more for us. Thank you so much. Always good to talk to you, Prof. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
All right. So the President's report back, I guess, to the media perhaps didn't quite tell the story of what was going on in the days before inside the NEC.
Yes, this was a meeting of 3 days, and we heard about a 1 hour or so summary of it. So quite a lot, I guess, we didn't hear about. One of it was, which was presented before the time in terms of high expectations, as the issue about Phala. And as we have heard now that it did provide a feedback or a presentation to the NEC about his view or his understanding of what happened or what his position is, which is in a sense based on the recommendation of the ANC's Integrity Commission, that they have suggested that he should do it. He should present to the NEC his way of understanding the situation and his version of it, and that is what he did. But he did not refer at all to that in this feedback or disclosure of the meeting. I think one has to be also keep in mind that this presentation, I think, was for two purposes. The one is to close the meeting or to summarize what happened at the meeting. But the fact that it was broadcasted publicly meant that it was also partly meant for the public consumption and for the public in general to understand.
What the President said about the amount that was taken and some of the details that he shared, did this in any way mitigate that which has been seen as an enormous scandal?
I think what is coming out is to a large extent the answers that he gave to the public protector some time back already. And it becomes now repetitive in nature. So there's not really much that new that I think that came out from this, at least the way in which it has been reported. And it is also a confirmation from his side that he sticks to his version of what happened there and what were the circumstances there. I think it is very much also in the context of the fact that the next important step is the panel of 3 legal experts in Parliament that must submit their first report to the Speaker. And we know that President Ramaphosa also responded to them and submitted his documentation to them. So I think that will be the first sort of critical step for him. At the same time, the public protector's investigation is also taking place. But I think the one which is now the most pressing on them, and in a sense the one with the most possible direct impact, is the one of the panel of 3.
All right. Inside the ANC, I mean, they have quite a few issues that they need to deal with before December. I believe the Phala game farm saga has been delayed. The Integrity Commission met and findings were found against Zweli Mkhize and President Ramaphosa. And this makes it difficult for the ANC, doesn't it? Because in theory, if you have an Integrity Commission finding, then you're not eligible to run for a position. What do they need to do now between now and December 16?
Well, I think it depends on what is the content of the recommendation. It's not merely that because the Commission is critical of a person that it automatically disqualifies that person as a candidate. I think the fact that both President Ramaphosa and Dr. Zweli Mkhize is involved in this is a huge headache for the ANC, especially in the context of the National Conference. They are the 2 main candidates for the position of president, and if both of them become disqualified or is forced to step aside or to become not eligible for this position, I think I cannot see that this conference will be able to continue. So the stakes are exceptionally high. And therefore, I think what they are both doing is in order to try to rescue the conference, if I can put it in those terms, is that both of them are now treated as if the situation is going to continue without any intervention by either the Integrity Commission or any other component of the ANC. It is only when there's going to be an external intervention from someone like the National Prosecuting Authority, where I think the situation is going to be interrupted or changed. But I personally cannot see that that is going to happen before the conference.
All right, okay, we've talked about Phala Integrity Commission, but they did speak about many other issues, and I wonder if you could just, in broad terms, take us through some of the points that you picked up on.
I think, first of all, this was now the last NEC meeting for this term, the 5 years term since 2017. So they've actually concluded their work with this meeting. At the same time, it is also the last meeting before the national conference. So what at this meeting has taken place is that the main reports that must be tabled in terms of the ANC's constitution at this conference, that were discussed at this and approved by this meeting of the NEC. So it included President Ramaphosa's political report, it included the organizational report, as well as the financial report. There were also other reports submitted, like that of the Integrity Commission, but also of a commission that doesn't receive at this stage a lot of attention, and that's the so-called Renewal Commission, chaired by the Minister of Agriculture, Dirk. And it speaks to what the name indicates, and that is that it deals with this notion of renewal within the ANC. We don't know what was this report about, and I guess tomorrow when there's a press conference, there might be more information about that. But that received some of the main attention. And then at the same time, a lot of the input that you have played or presented before this interview deals with policy matters. And I think the purpose of that is that it demonstrates that the ANC is not completely preoccupied just with itself. I think that's the purpose of this presentation that was made to the public, but that they continue to be concerned about the main socio-economic issues of South Africa, as well as the latest developments like the COP27 conference on climate change, and then also President Ramaphosa's initiative in order to solicit more and more foreign direct investment for infrastructure, which he emphasized again. So there was therefore quite a lot of emphasis on the special grants and the special payments that were made available since the pandemic or from the pandemic onwards, and that is now being continued with. So I think the purpose of this presentation, which took quite some time, of this total conclusion of President Ramaphosa, was to say, don't see us as a party which is just now inward looking and dealing with our own issues, but we are still the governing party, and therefore we pay attention to all of these matters.
All right, perhaps as we start to wrap up, maybe just to look at the state of the party. We hear that by all accounts that members of the NEC were not holding back. And I just wonder, does this give us a sense that people are going for broke now, and that come December and post-December, there will be a new order, and those that win, and those that are vanquished and will be set aside, literally?
I think you're very much correct. I think this is a period of many people become now very nervous about their own future, because we are now reaching a point with the conference of where a new NEC must be elected. So this was the last meeting possibly for quite a number of persons, or who have still the aspiration to be re-elected, but there's absolutely no guarantee for that. And then it is also about not long after that, the 2024 election. So it's two really important elements of uncertainty that coexist at this stage, and that create, I think, within the ANC a lot of anxiety about what will be the future. And I think for that reason, there's now, it's almost the open season. People are speaking out now in all different directions. Ministers who are now openly critical of President Ramaphosa, like, for example, Ndiwe Sisulu, even Dr. Dlamini Zuma, and in this meeting apparently became quite openly critical, which was very unusual of her. The past 5 years, she has been very quiet actually and never made any comments with respect to President Ramaphosa. So I think these are all indicators that some senior members in the ANC starts to understand it might be the end of their political careers, or on the other hand, that they have absolutely no guarantee that they will be able to be re-elected, even if they are still relatively young.
Professor Dirk Kotze, thank you very much indeed. No doubt we'll have quite a few conversations between now and December 16. Thanks so much indeed for your time.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right, that's Professor of Political Science at the University of South Africa, Professor Dirk Kotze, giving us his thoughts about the just concluded ANC NEC meeting ahead of that all-important, for the party, the National Elective Conference starting December 16.